Hello, it's Mega Dex. Today we're going to be doing a tier list video just because it's kind of something YouTubers do and I enjoy talking, so we're going to be talking about how I feel about all the killers in Dead by Daylight. So we're going to get right into it. Let me go and open my page real quick. Alright, we're going to start around who I feel is at the bottom tier, and then we're going to work our way up to the top. So first things first, someone near the very bottom. I guess I will go with Ghostface. He is F tier in my opinion. I know he has the insta down, and people are gonna be like, yeah, it's great. No, it's not. It's you have to waste a lot of time. This game is all about time dependency, and the time that people are putting into the game to try to get through engines is going to be way faster than your stock. I feel like if you're versing the sweatiest groups, at the very least, your skill is going to have to be much greater than your opponents. Like you don't need like even like a small amount. You have to be way better than the survivors you're versing. So that's why I'm putting him in F tiers, that it is way more of a struggle. Who else would I put down here? Well, I also feel like the twins. The twins are also F tier. Some people are like, they're great and you can go and slug and stuff, but honestly, kind of trash a lot of time when I'm versing them. If I am a survivor, it feels like you're bullying the twins. They can't do too much, honestly, against a real swift group. It feels like it's a struggle to win with them. It's also very clunky. They lose collision. It's just not really the best time if you're trying to be a killer. All these other like, I'm not saying they're not fun to use, but I am saying you are playing way harder than the rest of everyone else in this game. The Trapper. While he is still F tier, the Trapper, while he does suck because you don't really get his power is effective. It works. You can cut off loops, which is like a key thing. You do have to spend some time at the beginning of the game. You do have to play him a very specific way, but I think he gets the edge over these other two jokes of a killer. Alright, and then I think we'll be moving to D tier. Vecna. This dude is trash. Okay, I'm sorry, but who decided to put four like weirdly weak powers side by side and was like, yeah, let's just try to make it work? Like, yeah, they work, but you are first you're gonna be playing pretty hard to make him work, probably even harder than the F tiers, to be honest. But the difference is that like it's for so little effect, and you just have more options, and that's why I kind of put it above these other three. Not really an enjoyable experience. I lied about F tier, by the way. I should just throw it in here. The Knight is mad trash, like back to back. Everyone else I've used, I've been able to get around. The Knight's rework really made him horrible. It is a nuisance to use. I do not find it enjoyable at all. Another D tier killer. I know people rate her really high. I hate this chick. This lady with the crows, the artist. No, I don't. I do not subscribe. I unsubscribe to this killer. It is not what it needs to be. You can't use the ability if it's near things the thing just doesn't like. You can't like, okay, so if they're like swarming the hook, right, you don't have a power anymore. You can't put them near the hook to shoot at someone who's right there. It's a problem. I don't really like the artist. I think she's kind of trash. Above these two though, I'm gonna put the Clown. He doesn't really help you that much. He kind of slows them down, and then he can speed everyone up, including himself, but like the risk is kind of high. At least he's not the Knight though. You can't go and run off with the flag and then be like 1,000 miles an hour, or you're like just staring at them walking away. But yeah, that's how I feel about the Clown. He's mediocre, better than these convoluted ones, but you know. See, I like Freddy more than Vecna. I just feel like he's just a bad kit of things. Like, he can be fun to play, but the kit isn't super great. Also, he only gets like 4 of his ability with the like blood puddle thing, and it's just kind of impractical. You have to use it in the moment. You can't really like plan it out like the Trapper. So it was cool. He has a little more versatility than the Trapper and stuff, but like he's just kind of in the middle. So I'm putting Freddy down here. At least he gave us good perks though. Okay, I'm gonna put someone in C tier now. I'm gonna put the Pig in C tier because it has a built-in slowdown. She is slowing down the game as she is entering it, and that is overall pretty good in my opinion. Also, her add-ons aren't bad either. These other ones, their add-ons are kind of mid for the most part. Like Trapper's barely playable. He is just playable when he has his iridescence. Pig, her add-ons, they're okay, but her overall pretty good kit. Slows down the game, gives you some time to get a win in. Even against like some of the sweatier teams, you can still, sometimes you can manage. I say sometimes. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next one. Next C tier, I'm gonna put this above her, is Billy. That's not Billy, that's Bubba. Okay, whoops, fuck. Okay, you can snowball pretty crazily with Bubba, and I like his perk. It has a nice punishment. You can play around people camping in lockers and stuff. You can do a whole bunch of things to mess with timing and get the win. This one's going in D tier, which I put right above, I put him right above Vecna, but Myers, Michael Myers, y'all, he is fun to play, very impractical. Even when you get him into tier 3, there are a lot of things that prevent you from using his ability. So if you're ever doing like the silent one achievement or whatever, it's just gonna be very difficult to get overall. And I just think they need to rework him to make him good, because it's just not worth it. All right, this guy's going at the bottom of C tier. Chucky, he's kind of trash. He has a way to cut the distance and some, like, he has scamper to go underneath stuff, but unless you have his ability active, very easy to just mess with. Very bullyable killer. Actually, he can get hard countered by like sweat groups sometimes. So I feel certain way about him. I know he has potential, but he really feels mid for the most part. All right, and then we're going to go and put our first person in B tier, which I will put Nemesis. Now, this is keeping in mind that he needs add-ons to be like great. He needs to have his add-ons so that way he has the range on his tentacle and so on. He takes some time to start up, but after you get him going, he can be pretty lethal, destroying pallets, chasing down survivors, just having a lot of range to being able to play with, while also having those 2 zombies running around. I know it's not really going to affect Swift so much, but it is giving you information the whole way through. Going right above the pig, we're going to put the Onryo, or the ring chick, however you want to call her. She's pretty good. She has the teleportation, lets her get around. I'd say she's right below Bubba. Her condemn got nerfed so heavily that you're not able to really push forward in as aggressive fashion. That's why I feel like she's behind Billy. Still cool to play, just not as powerful as she used to be. And now we're going to take another B tier character, in my opinion. I'll put him above Nemesis, and if it will let me, there we are. Okay, Wraith. This guy is actually great. He's a hit and run specialist. They really don't see him at all. And all you do, alert them when you're coming in, you get the speed boost. And it's just, if you're able to just keep laying pressure on, they'll just have a grand time with this guy. He's actually very decent at what he does, with or without add-ons. He's one of the few killers where I feel even when I don't have an add-on, he is still great and you can get the job done. Oni. I will put him right behind Wraith, actually. I do know he has snowball potential and he has good control, and there's a little bit of auto aim they give you on the hit. I will say he does require a startup though, and that's what I think puts him behind Wraith, is that if you cannot get that early game hit in immediately, it's not gonna work for you. It's like you can get the wins with him, it's just you can have a harder time depending on the group that you're playing, and they'll know to heal, so you can be countered pretty aggressively if they're just like, if you verse a group and they happen to have health kits, or even if they have self-healing. Like some of them will just have perks that will stop you from gaining your ability, and they will try to get rid of that as fast as possible. They don't even need med kits, to be honest. They could just go and heal each other up, and then you'll have to go and start from scratch again, or you'll have to commit to a chase, and then that's generator time, etc, etc. All right, I'm actually going to put the Demogorgon in A tier. You're really like, why? Well, first, he does get an advantage from being on different levels of something. If he's like up on a hill, he can do his like Volt ability over windows and stuff. Now, it won't hit the survivor downside. However, he can go and Volt around. Also, he has the ability to proxy camp anywhere he wants. He gets to set his teleportation, he can move pretty quick, and some of his add-ons let him see survivors while he's traveling in like the upside down world. So he does have a pretty nice build to him, and I think that puts him just barely in the A tier. Okay, we're gonna go back down the list a little bit, and we are going to put a pyramid head in between Billy and the chick from The Ring, because I do feel like he's just not quite that powerful. Like you can get some good aura reading, and you can add his ranged add-ons on him, but like at his full potential, he falls a little bit short. Like he's fun and you can use him, and he does come with some nice perks, but he's playing kind of mid. He's not too powerful, he's not too weak. He's just where he is, you know? I used him for a while because I was farming him out because I needed one of his perks. I just wanted to use him at the time. Not the best experience against the higher MMR characters. This one, he's an interesting one, the Dredge, and I'm struggling to really gauge where he'll do the best. I'll put him in B tier. I almost wanted to put him, we'll put him at the front of C. The reason we're putting him at the front of C is because the more experienced your survivors are, the more likely he's going to do nothing. Them being blinded really doesn't do, it does not hurt a sweaty group enough to be in the B tier. For me, the B is the ceiling of your perk is going to work whether you're fighting a really aggressive group or not. And the Dredge, he's while he works, first you can lock his lockers, which kind of sucks because that's his whole power. And also it's RNG based, so that also lowers him on my list. I feel like the Dredge's power will just end up falling off. Even Bubba, his power starts getting a bit harder to get the win with because he is just kind of chasing you at a slightly increased speed. You'd almost have to run like a whole speed gimmick to make him super crazy. But even then, you're putting so much in while other killers would just excel and do it better. Dredge, I feel like it's the same thing. He has a nice power, but you're dealing with RNG, and your second power when it's like Nightfall doesn't really stop survivors often, at least not the good ones. Now this character that I'm about to put up here next, I'm going to put him in A tier, but this is with a disclaimer. I think he barely makes it. Actually, you are under Demogorgon. I feel for him to be best, you need a time-wasting perk deck, and I don't honestly like that. I think that's I think it's trash. I think running a time-wasting thing alongside him, you can win more often than the others, but it's just you are barely doing it, and I think he's just barely an A. I think you can get those wins with him, but it's not by very much. Also, he's a very close range killer despite his power, and you're probably like, well, how is he a close range killer? I can go and shoot him from away. If you go and shoot someone who's I don't know, 20 meters away, right? They're gonna break those chains and be gone. You're gonna have to do that 2 or 3 times before you actually catch them. And I feel like it's just wasting a lot of the time you could be hitting a gen or actually getting a hit or something. Now I will put someone who I believe is in a realm above all of these killers, which is Wesker. His bound does so many things, but the main thing that he does that I think is a great novelty is he wastes everyone's time while he gets his injury. His power not only hits them, it will go and cut the chase in half, and it infects them. Now they have to go and get rid of their infection, and this is stacking on more time. Nemesis has a similar thing, but it is not as bad as what Wesker is doing to them. Also, Nemesis does not have the range that Wesker's bound has, where he's able to cut off a lot of loops because of it. I think he runs a perfect kind of system for getting rid of survivors, and it wastes a lot of their times, and that's why I think he gets to be our first A+ tier member. This one, he will be going in our A tier. He will be a high A tier. He's going higher than that. Wow, okay. We got the Death Slinger. He is able to break all the loops. He can grab survivors from however far, and he's what I feel is very similar to a infinite range kind of killer. I know latency can be bad with him, but if you have good internet, this guy is just great for breaking chases. If you are a chase main character, Deathslinger is probably the one for you, or if you just really liked like Modern Warfare 2 or whatever your game was when you were growing up. Now, right below him, actually that's the wrong one. We're gonna place her anyways. She used to be like bottom of A plus, maybe top of A. But since her nerf, and they took away all the stuff that made her like special, and now people don't even need to bring a flashlight to get rid of her signs, and they can just wipe them away, I'm going to say she is also in the RNG, whether this killer is gonna really get the win or not. The reason I think that is Hag is great, but you can wipe away her traps, and it really depends on what kind of survivors you're playing against. Half of them are going to wipe you away, and the other half might have a real hard time versing you. That's all I really have to say for her. She's a very simple killer. She has a great system, but again, now they can be afforded with crouching survivors wiping away your marks. So hard countered by everyone. Now we're gonna grab Skull Merchant. I think she is at the bottom of B. Even with her nerf, she can now just anti-loop. She's hard to deal with overall. You have all the information in the world, and you can choose whatever perks because you don't need any information perks. So you can run 4 regression perks, and if you're good enough at chase, you will just get the survivor. Also, you get free injuries off of your spinny things. So yeah, Skull Merchant, still annoying. I don't really know that she's fun to play, but she is effective, so there we are. This one's also going right over Pinhead right here, where we have Legion, where he has great mobility. He can make everybody mend. It does waste time. I just do feel like he's not a strong enough killer, even when he's running around and he's hitting everybody. He's just kind of mid. The ability's alright. Like, it's doing better than most, and he's putting on a lot of pressure, but like some people just get used to all being injured and then mending immediately, and then pretty much you're an M1 killer. So you're pretty much playing the game with half the life states, or health states. I feel... I will put him second in B tier for now. Trickster has like an add-on that makes him pretty broken, but like he's okay. Like, it's not the best thing in the world. He does put on nice pressure, and you can definitely go and take out a lot of survivors with him. I just don't feel like he's as powerful as Pinhead's or Legion's ability, where they're able to affect everybody. And since it is kind of unstable, I couldn't put him near like Deathslinger's kind of category of strength. He doesn't have any like way to get around the map fast, and that's also why Demogorgon's up here, is because he has better mobility than all 3 of these guys. All right, moving forward, someone I put at the just above Wesker, not by much, but just above. I will be putting Huntress, because she doesn't ever have to worry about anything getting snagged on anything, and she just gets the damage through. Also, her add-ons make her an insta-kill. So yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory why I think she is going to be doing better. Our next A+ killer, Billy. I will actually put Billy right behind Wesker, and you're like, whoa, Billy's one of the greatest. Yes, he is one of the greatest, but he is not quite wasting enough time for them. The reason I put him behind is these guys both can cut distance. While he is a bit faster, I do not think it is as good as making a survivor have to do a side task, along with his ability being strong in general. If he was just one of those, Billy would be above, but since Billy only serves to be able to move quick with an insta down, I don't really feel. Also, how hard it is to turn corners unless it's at the very beginning of his run can pretty much stop you from getting the hit. So I don't really think this is the best. Also, people can hug trees, and there's a lot of items in the game, and the hit collision's pretty bad. So I just feel like this is not the best thing in the world. You're going to take Blight. He's taking the first spot in the A+ section. He's just able to move way better than everyone here. He's just better. He's just a great killer, and that is what it is. He just has the best mobility, and he keeps flying around, very hard to deal with. Also, some of his perks let you see his aura when you're bouncing around, making his add-on pretty superb versus any of these other ones. In between the Blight and Wesker, we are putting Dracula. And you're probably like, why is he way over here? Why is Billy over here? Well, hear me out. He can ignore pallets entirely, and his bat form moves at 12 meters per second, making him super fast, hard to deal with. He is undetectable, he is always sneaking up on gens, and he doesn't have to deal with pallets. Similar to a different character we will be talking about later. Bottom of A+ is going to be Spirit. She is very niche. You have to wear headphones or have your volume blaring out of your computer for her to be usable. She's pretty much, under the right settings, is good, but like if you have not fully mastered her, it's either you're going to be super great or you're going to be really bad. I'm more so judging her on her power, which means you and the survivor are pretty much playing the same game, listening to your monitor, trying to figure out who is where. Yeah, I don't really think it's great, mainly because her power is just you and the survivor playing the same mind game pretty much, and I don't think you're really playing with advantage. Also, your power goes away and you're just getting bullied by survivors for like 15. Okay, I will put him in the middle of A tier. Alien, he has like some ability to port around with his tunnels everywhere. It's not the worst setup in the world. What really gives him the edge is that he is able to hit you over pallets if like people are hugging too close and stuff. So you get some leeway. Yeah, you get attacked by turns, but you can still run a pretty menacing game with him. I'd say he's middle A tier. Definitely better than Demogorgon and Legion though, so that's why I ended up placing him there. I will put him at the top of A tier. This guy, the Doctor, as you know, that's one of like my second most played characters on my channel. He pretty much just he makes it difficult for everybody to do anything, and you're just able to juice that time away from survivors. So he's pretty great. Also, if you can time your shocks just right with latency, you can stop them from jumping through windows and looping. So if you do just enjoy not letting them rush through gens or slowing down a game in a, I guess, fun way for the killer, I'd say the Doctor. He's also, I just find it to be stronger than a lot of these other guys because he can stop loops. Like, they don't even get to go through it. You can go and stop their loop and hit them. And you also just get a lot of, like, you can slow them down in such a way where they have to go and do multiple tasks because they'll have to deal with the Doctor. You can add like the impossible skill check Doctor setup's also pretty great, and you're just able to stop them from doing anything, and that's just kind of is what it is. This character I will put right behind Billy is the Unknown. He has anti-loop, teleportation, AoE effects. He's pretty good in chase. What he is, he's just really good at being able to do chase and then setting up locations to teleport. Also, his teleports take a second to get rid of, and you can get their location if you're like looking in that direction when they're when his like I don't know what they're called, but like his clones are taken away. You can go and teleport straight to it and slap them out of it, and then you know keep progressing the game. Really nice character to play, has very strong chase potential. I just say it's below Billy because Billy is far faster and has an insta down. She should be, I'd say she's second in line. I'm not good with Plague, but every time I've versed her, or actually I used to be good with Plague, but I'm not good with Plague. And every time you kind of verse her, she is hurting everybody. There's pressure on everyone. You're sick and you make sound the whole time. You give away your location constantly. If you get rid of the illness, you make Plague unstoppable, and she starts being able to shoot the most gruesome damage at everybody, and you just can't stop her for the most part. I'd argue you could say Plague or Blight, in my opinion, are some of the most top tier killers. But as everyone knows, you already knew who was going to be in S tier. There could only be one, and that is our nurse. She ignores pallets. She is the teleport. She was the first teleport, and she's just, unstoppable. What are you gonna do? You're versing a good nurse. You're gonna lose the match. There's no way you can say that you would win it unless the nurse was bad at the game. Pretty much yeah, I have no ability to actually play nurse. I couldn't be a nurse main if I wanted to. This is my list. This is how I feel about all of the killers. I think this is an accurate representation of how I feel the power scaling is. I did keep in mind when I was putting the list together, like add-ons that make them strong, even if I don't use the killer. I went and looked them all up to make sure I had a pretty accurate view of them. I know some people are gonna be like, my favorite killer is often. Well, like, dude, this is just an opinion. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. This has been Mega Dex. See you in the next one.